The Committee on Women Affairs summoned the Minister of Women Affairs, Barrister Uju Kennedy, to give reports on their vision, core mandate, relationship with women affairs, and others. The committee chairman, Honorable Kafilat Ogbara, in her address says the committee will ensure the budget of the ministry is judiciously used and monitored, stating that the committee will not tolerate misappropriation of funds. Honorable Kafilat stressed the need for the funds for the national development of women affairs to go around the country, as the allocation is not for the development of Abuja women alone.
Minister and the leadership of the Ministry of Women Affairs. We also like to know your vision for the ministry, what you have done since you got there, what you think you could do better in the coming year, because the year is going to an end and we'll be doing our budget anytime soon. We also want to know your relationship with the National Center for Women Development, which is the only parastatal under the Ministry of Women Affairs. And we know that you share the same envelope, and how you think, you can work with them to ensure that they improve in their services in developing women nationally. We would also like to know what your plans are for Nigerian women generally, because it's one thing for you to plan, it's another thing for those plans to be impactful. Because right now, we have a legislative agenda which we expect that your ministry keys into our legislative agenda as spelled out by the Right Honorable Speaker of this House, Right Honorable Tajuddin Abbas. And we also expect that your budgetary line will also be gender-responsive budgeting, where we will ensure that what we need to do for our women particularly and our girl children are really impactful in that regard to enable us, achieve our core mandate as the Ministry of Women Affairs. And the Women Affairs House Committee, we are very determined to think outside the box and not let things be business as usual, in line with the renewed hope agenda of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, so that Nigerians can know that this government is a government that cares for her people. It's a government that is ready to touch the lives of Nigerians directly. Nigerians just hear millions, billions that we allocate to ministries yearly. How effective, how impactful has all these funds been to the ordinary Nigerian? So we are going to ensure that whatever is allocated to the Ministry of Women Affairs is judiciously used, judiciously monitored, to ensure that the real beneficiaries of these budgetary allocations get impacted with whatever it is that is allocated to them. So we want to let you know that our own plans is to ensure that we work and work and work to get desired results. So we want you to be ready to work with us in this line, because we will not tolerate any misappropriation of funds. We will not tolerate any misappropriation of plans or agenda or whatever budgetary allocation that is already allocated to you. And we want you to work hand in hand with the National Center for Women Development to achieve some of these goals. Because we just met with the leadership of the center and we have been acquainted with the challenges that they are facing. We are also aware that they even directly work with Nigerians, but we have a challenge with some of the things that they explain to us, which is in line with the way they, train people, empower people, because it now looks as if the National Center for Women Development is a national center for women development in Abuja, because everything they do is here in Abuja. So how can we, re-strategize together to see that some of these trainings are taken to the zones, even though the zonal offices are just on paper, they are not yet being implemented. It doesn't matter. There are ways you can plan these things, get a location, get your resource persons from those zones, and still implement just the way you are implementing in Abuja, so that we can actually cut across Nigerians across the nation. Whatever funds is allocated to the Women's Center is not allocated to FCT. It's allocated to Nigerians. So So sometimes when they tell people to bring names for training, bring names for this, people just scout for who they can get here because of the transportation cost of bringing people from Sokoto, from Zamfara, from all over the country. So these are some of the challenges that I think they are facing, and of course their hostel and all that, which I'm sure you are aware. And that is a center where I was a board member for 4 years. I think that was around 2004 or thereabout, close to 20 years ago when I was a member there. So I know how the center was then, and I know how it is now. And I think I also have a picture of what we can do to ensure that things move away from status quo. So as a ministry, we want to know what your plans are, because women development for us is half of the progress of this country. Once we are able to get it right with women, definitely Nigeria is going to get it right. So we have a lot of work to do, and I know you are going to tell us some of your challenges as well, so that we know how we can come in and ensure that, we move progressively together. Thank you.
The Minister of Women Affairs, Barrister Uju Kennedy, in a presentation, gave a rundown of projects the ministry is working on, amongst which are African Bostonized clothing, changing local meetings into village cooperative, providing rice seedlings, fish grilling machines, rice milling and packaging machines to 5 states, amongst which are Jigawa, Kano, Anambra and others.
Adamawa, okay, yes, I mentioned. We are starting with 5 states. The 6 states, I said Kano, Kaduna, Jigawa, Adamawa, and Anambra. These are the 5 states we are starting, because we were able to get a company that donated the hybrid seedlings of rice to us, 26,000 tons. And these 26,000 tons can only be planted on 500 hectares. So we're giving each of the states 1 hectare to plant rice. And when they're done with the planting, in 3 months to 4 months, it's going to give them a profit of 100 million naira per each state. And that will enable us equally sell that rice at a cheaper rate compared to what they have in the market, pushing it in quantity. Then we're providing them with rice milling machine. In this rice milling machines, it has 4 components. It dechaffs the rice, it distills the rice, it cleans the rice, and it parboils the rice all at once. Then we're providing them with a machine to package the rice in such a way that it could be presentable, that even people outside the country could buy. So with this, we can't achieve it without hubs. So we want to provide, it's part of what I'm presenting to the president in a couple of days, because I spoke to him about it. He said I should compile it as a booklet and get it to him. We need hubs, not too expensive hubs, something like a warehouse where we use to be marketing these things for these people. Because what we've been failing is that we do the training for these women. We don't empower them on how to continue with what they are doing. There are some of them that are planting, like in Benue. If you go to Benue at times, you see where they heaped spoiled fruits because they have nobody to buy them. While there are a lot of people, fruits are very expensive other places because they are not equally assessing the people that are planting those fruits directly. So that's what we need the hub for. We're going to have it in the whole 774 local governments, so that it will be accessible to these villagers. And it is from that hub they will be able to push into our portal what are available. But before then, we want to put it in the portal what these women have already planted, so that we make demands for people that need to make demands. There will be a pause in that portal for payment, and then mini pots. We are working with a bank. The mini pots will be where we will distribute the farmers' monies directly. So is this same thing we want to do both in cassava and some other crops? Then we equally went to the market to see how the women are suffering. Something like bitter leaf sellers. People from our side, we eat a lot of bitter leaf. and it's a good market for them. But they suffer so much. You will see it on TV on the 28th day of my 100th day, where they are using hand for hours, looking so malnourished, suffering so much to make the money. Now we took the company that could provide them with a machine to make it easier, and the machine is part of what I would have wanted to show you, where this machine will not only drain the bitterness out of the bitter leaf, but it will probably compile the bitterness it has drained as a drink, because it's a very nutritious drink, and it helps in health challenges too, like the stomach upset and so many other little things. So these same women will not only now sell the bitter leaf, they will probably be giving machine to package the water, and that water will get people that will access it and sell, and they will make small extra money from it. Then we probably went into ready-to-wear clothing. I'm actually coming from the center because we brought some machines there, put in the center, more modernized machines to add to. I thank my DG, he's cooperating with me so well, because all both of us are after is how to build a nation and get these women to do better. So she's cooperating with me so much. So including my directors, like I mentioned earlier. So I took the machines there today. We rearranged a room. And then we start the clothing. I'm going to provide them with funds to buy the materials. So we are doing African westernized clothing. We've already entered into a partnership with a company in US where they will be distributing it in US malls for sale, and we will probably be selling here. So for us to meet up, we have to do this same thing we've done today across the nation, so that they will be producing enough for exports and internal selling. So these are the things we're starting. We're starting immediately. Today we commissioned it. Tomorrow it will be on the news and showing them how they are working and what it's going to be. And we presented some of the clothes we made, because first clothing we made were made for the First Lady. We presented it on the day they were opening the crèche. So we've been able to equally renovate the crèche that has been dormant for the past 12 years, 20 years. Since 2001, we've already renovated it. The place will take off in a short while because it's ready, and it was commissioned by the First Lady through the Vice President's wife. That was on the 21st of this month, on Tuesday. So that one we probably take off. That was where we were able to present the clothing line of Women Affairs. So apart from the some of these things, Governors Forum approved for us. We need your support for it to work. Not financially, but we need your support to stand by us, so that if it remains only the Federal Attorney General, that is the only place that is remaining now. We've gotten all the other approvals. We've gotten from the judges. So immediately the Attorney General approves this, which he said he traveled this week. I should come and see him on Monday. Then we will move up with it. And we're using this thing to curb issue of the congesting the courts, the prisons, on the negative norms like female genital mutilation and other norms, like all these widows that their families collect their late husband's properties and not allow them to access it, and so many other small things. And these hospitals that end up refusing emergency patients, these are some of the things the mobile court will do for us. But we can't introduce the mobile courts and take off without empowering the people. If you want to stop a norm, you have to first empower them. So we're hoping to equally first empower them on a sustainable empowerment. Then after that, we will move on to do sensitization, which we use the local means in the language they understand, like the town criers, radios, and other means, to make sure they understand the point we are trying to make, that they should stop this. It's not okay. We're empowering them first because a hungry man is an angry man. If they are empowered and the poverty will reduce in that area, they will listen to us. That is what we feel. So when we sensitize them, then we bring in the whistleblowers that will give us information if it happens again. That's when the mobile court will come in after police must have investigated and confirmed to us that whatever one they reported to us was freshly done. Then the mobile court will come in for either fine or jail terms. So these are a few things I can mention right now that we're doing.
During the interactive session, a member of the committee noted most of the women empowerment programs does not get to the grassroots, especially displaced women and program for girl-child education. Comfort Olayinka, DCTV News.